Hey guys, hope you're all having a great day. So here's our garden. Look at how much of a hot mess it is. We have a whole crop of weeds that are growing in this garden. We're gonna take all those out and we're gonna plant everything in the garden. I just wanna show you what plants we're gonna be growing in the garden this year, and then we'll have them all laid out and we'll plant all of them, and then I'll just kind of go through where we planted everything. But let's take a look at what we have. So everything that we have over here is what we're gonna be growing, and I'll just go through everything individually. So we have a variety of beets right here. Never grown beets before, but I'm gonna try to separate these out individually, since obviously when you grow them close together, they're beets, so they're gonna take up space individually. So I'll try to space those out as much as we can. Here, I was able to get these separately. I couldn't find too many proven winners. The harvest series, I was able to find these at Walmart, but I couldn't start them from seed this year, so we don't have too many of those. These are the Garden Gem from the Tempting Tomatoes, and then right here is our Pesto Besto basil. Right here, we like eggplant, but we don't love eggplant, so we're only growing one of them. This is a patio baby, so we have one eggplant here. And then we have pickling cucumbers, so there's just a number of them right there. Hopefully we'll be able to actually make some pickles this year, which will be really fun. Back over here, we also have some marigolds. So we're gonna be incorporating those because marigolds have some really good properties for the garden. They do some really great things for preventing insects and all that kind of stuff. So marigolds are a great thing to add to your garden. Plus they make things look pretty. Next we have some zucchini, just a regular type of zucchini. Over here, we have, oh, it's falling over, but it's called a Better Bush tomato. So just like a regular slicer tomato. I don't know if it says how big these get, but yep, we've got the Better Bush. And then the last one is another tomato. And this is a Gold Spark. I have one person in my family who can't eat tomatoes because they're too acidic, but she can have the yellow tomatoes, so we grow these too. So this is a really great option if tomatoes are too acidic for you. So we have all of this, and then the last thing, which I did start on my own over here, is corn. Now it's not traditional corn, it's actually an ornamental corn because corn is so cheap, so it's not like it's really worth growing in your garden, especially when it doesn't taste much different. But ornamental corn's fun because you can decorate with it. So this is what it looks like right now. I originally was just gonna soak them for 24 hours, and we ended up getting to planting the garden probably like 3 or 4 days after I was expecting. So this entire bed is actually gonna end up being corn, and we'll spread everything else out throughout these next 2 beds. But they were sitting in water. I couldn't let them sit for more than 24 hours, otherwise they were going to end up rotting. So I just stuck them in these paper towels in this sealed container, and they're definitely sprouting quite a bit. I don't know if any of you remember from last year, but we did not have good success with corn last year. So we're going to hopefully have better success this year. At least I know all the corn is sprouting. So we'll plant that all in one bed. It should be able to air pollinate pretty well without us doing anything to it. But besides that, we're just going to clear these beds. We also have, I'm going to turn around so I can show you right back. Oh, that's somewhere back there. We have a trash can that is full of compost from just like eggshells, coffee grinds, fruit peels, all that kind of stuff that we've been throwing in there for quite a while. Hopefully it's broken down enough at this point. It may not completely be broken down, but we can at least get the stuff at the bottom. We're going to include that in as well. And if I feel like we really need to add any more stuff, I can always pick up a couple bags of compost at the garden center, and we can throw those in a couple days later. Besides that, I think we're going to be using garden food from Espoma. We're going to be fertilizing with that. It's not organic, but I didn't realize that it wasn't organic when I bought it. But yeah, besides that, we're just going to start cleaning up these beds and get planting. planted, and you may have noticed that it actually is a new day now. Last night we ended up getting a downpour in the middle of gardening everything. We got to plant a few more things, but then it also just got dark because it was like 8:30. So we just had to finish everything today. I also stopped at the garden center to pick up a couple other things. I got this mulch, which I will show you the bag of what type of mulch we used at the end of this video. And then we also got some tomato cages to help hold up these tomatoes. So here's how we ended up organizing it. First of all, you can notice that there's marigolds planted throughout. We just have one in each corner, and then there's one more in the middle there. But starting over in this first bed, we have the basil that's here, the eggplant, here's the garden gem, there's the better bush, and then the last variety of tomato, which let me walk onto the other side because I don't remember what that variety was. This was the gold spark. Okay. And then also mixed throughout, we had some Swiss chard that was from my winter sowing video. This I started from seed over the winter, so we have some there. It doesn't look the greatest now, but it'll be totally fine once it gets going. There's a few plants. There's 4 plants mixed throughout there, and then 3 more over there. And then we have these tomato cages. These are 42-inch tomato cages. Those 2 or 3 are just painted red. This is the same one, but just regular steel. And then this is a maybe 36-inch tomato cage, something like that. We just got a cage for the eggplant and the basil because it'll just help stake them up instead of having a single stake on them. Moving over to the next bed, again, some more marigolds. What we have are honestly just cucumbers and zucchini. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zucchini, and then the rest of these are all cucumbers. And I think what we're gonna do is either have a standing trellis here or even have it maybe like a standing one wrap around. If we get some sort of like ranch panel, maybe have it go around like that and have it be nice and tall. We're still figuring out what we're gonna do, but we at least have a row of those cucumbers for now. And those are pickling cucumbers, if I didn't mention that earlier. And then the last bed, again, more marigolds, although we have 2 in the back because I had extra, so I figured I would just put 2 more over there. You can see the 2 rows of beets that we have here. I wanted to space those out, and then we have 1, 2, and 3 rows of corn, which are still pretty much just the seeds for now. And my thought was with these beets are more of a cool season crop, so they're going to want to be more shaded if you're growing them in the middle of the summer. So hopefully what will happen is the beets are going to grow pretty fast, but as the corn starts to grow, it'll provide some shade for the beets, and hopefully they won't get as, you know, damaged, I guess. You can see them a little bit up close, or just not burned, I should say, is more what I meant to say. So they'll be more comfortable. The same thing goes over here for the Swiss chard. As the tomatoes, eggplant, and basil grow, they'll kind of shade out this Swiss chard a little bit, so that way this can do better in more shade and not get as overheated, I guess. I don't really know how else to describe that. It's just that the plants want cooler temperatures. So giving them shade allows them to have cooler temperatures in the summertime. The last thing I wanted to mention, which I don't think I mentioned in any other videos, first of all, we have our composter here, which I know just looks like a trash can, but that's what we're using for our composter, and that's what we put in the garden as well. When we first turned everything in, we had compost that had been building up over the last year, and that worked pretty well. Over here, these 3 bushes that you see right here are all blueberries. So I want to start off and say that this bush that we have right here is one that we've had for a number of years, but we finally have it in its permanent location. I don't remember the exact variety, but you can see there's some blueberries on there now. They're pretty sweet. I'd say they're like a pretty mild blueberry, not anything crazy, but we have that there. And then we just bought this one and this one earlier this week. So this one is a Jersey hybrid blueberry. So medium-sized berries in late season. It has a vigorous upright habit to 8 feet, and then you can see the whole variety there. And then this one over here is a Darrow hybrid blueberry. These are large blueberries that ripen late season again, and then an upright habit to 6 feet instead of 8 feet. I don't know a ton about blueberries, but I know that we wanted to have them in our garden, and I also had watched some videos and read online that having different varieties of blueberries helps to produce more. It helps with like the fertilization of them. So I think all 3 of them are different varieties. I think the one that we originally had is a different variety from the other 2, but they'll all somewhat be the same size. Obviously that one on the end is going to be a little bit taller, but we have those 3 blueberries right next to this here, which is the Temple of Bloom tree. So that'll eventually be kind of like a tree, which will grow a little bit taller than those blueberry bushes. So I think they're going to be spaced just enough because they're supposed to have more of an upright habit than out, so they're not going to take up a whole lot of space. And the last thing I wanted to mention is just that we have the zucchini here. This is just leftover. Those 5 zucchini plants and then all of these zucchini came from 1 4-pack. That's just like the least amount that we could buy, so we're going to give those away to the rest of our friends and family. So this is the mulch we ended up using for our garden. It's called Mainly Mulch, as you can see. Now, my local garden center that I work at carries this, but I haven't honestly seen it anywhere else. So it may not be this specific variety or this specific brand that you'll see, but hopefully you can find something similar to this if you want to have the same idea. But you don't have to worry about this producing any weeds because they're high temperature dried to eliminate weed seeds. It's designed not to blow once wet. I did just wet everything down after I planted it. And it's a proprietary blend of hay and straw. I bought 2 bags and then I realized that I didn't even use an entire bag for our whole garden. But it's good to have extra because I think I'll end up using the rest of this bag maybe in another few weeks or a month or so, just seeing how the weeds end up doing in these next few weeks. And if a lot start popping up, then I'll put another layer down because, you know, it would be nice to have a little bit of a thicker layer. But then the second bag is still sealed up and we can just keep that for next year. So that's all we're really going to do with the mulch. But it's really nice and easy, but you can use really anything that you want as a mulch. This is just an easy thing that you could pick up from the store and then bring it back. So besides that, let me know if you guys have any questions. The only thing I will say, if you have questions on, I don't know the specific varieties of like the zucchini that we're growing or the cucumbers or other things like that, because they're just like the generic like zucchini, cucumber, whatever tags for those types of plants that we got from the garden center. They're just the general 4-packs, but they're just a regular variety that you could find pretty much anywhere. So besides that, I hope you guys like this video and I will see you in the next one.